You want to go, punk? We are about to see a huge increase of martial energy. That's right, Mars is going to be entering its home sign of Aries, cardinal fire, where the warrior, Mars representing war, courage, battle, confrontation, fierceness, Mars is going to be very comfortable doing these things in the sign of Aries. In the cardinal fire sign, Mars is comfortable with this idea of impulse. Like when your gut tells you to go, that fight or flight response, it's going to be super sensitive and super provoked during this time. So, what are we going to see in the world? Well, tensions are definitely going to rise because Mars in Aries does not shy away from confrontation. Whereas we are just coming out of Mars in Pisces, where we might see a lot more people protesting. We may see Mars trying to rescue or be of service in some kind of humanitarian way. We see more productive elements of Mars in that way. But Mars in Aries says there is a time for everything. And right now, the time is to turn up. So we're going to see tensions increase. I think we're going to see people more demonstrative in terms of what they feel is worth fighting for. Mars and Aries says like we've done the peaceful protesting. Now it's time to throw some Molotov cocktails or what have you. So what we are going to see here is Mars and Aries is just not fucking around anymore. It's just go time. So whatever that means on the world stage, however that's going to show up for you, like maybe in your life it's go time. Like we're not messing around, we're not waiting. It's time to execute the plan. It's time to act with what your intuition, what your gut is telling you, what your body is telling you. Mars is so connected to that bodily instinctive pulse that tells us to go or tells us to stay or to enact something. So we're going to be feeling a lot more sensitive to that impulsive, um, primal urge to act. So on the world stage, I think we're definitely going to see tensions increase. I think we're going to see even more acts of demonstration, liberation. Remember that Mars in Aries is the hero. Mars in Aries will jump into a burning building to save people too. So it's not like we lose all of that altruism when Mars moves into Aries, but there is less of a, hey, let's think of a different plan. It's more of, let me leap into action. Let me do something about this. So I think we're gonna see more acts of freedom, more acts of liberation, people doing the unthinkable, people doing the bravest things that you think of. Right now, there's a lot of crisis and tension in the world. There are millions of people on the verge of famine in Gaza right now. And I did see on the Jupiter Uranus conjunction that there's a group of people who are going to go try to like move past this ship blockade to try to deliver aid to Gazan people. And that definitely touches on some of the Saturn Pisces themes of like the nautical warfare and the blockades with the Mars Saturn conjunction in Pisces. That's going to set a 2 year theme for the next couple of years. This is like a 2 year cycle of where we're going to see some of the biggest challenges. So I think a lot of that is going to be like around seas and oceans and where the boundaries are and things like that. So to deliver aid. So I think we're going to see like Mars and Aries, some really heroic acts. Right now, as I'm recording this on the Scorpio full moon, we're seeing a lot of campus protests. So I think Mars and Aries is only going to embolden people to be louder, to be more vocal, to be bolder in their demonstrations. Like Mars and Aries is not going to calm things down. It's only going to turn things up, especially when we see Mars conjoin the North Node on the 17th of May. That's going to really, really increase and exaggerate this warrior spirit. Also, in early June, we're going to see Mars, because Mars is going to hang out in Aries through June 9th. We're going to see in early June, Mars conjoins with his sister, Eris, the goddess of discord. You know, I love her in early June. And Eris is all about equality. Eris, but she's fierce about it though. She's not just going to like write up a speech and advocate. Like Eris is down to get messy. Eris is all about demanding representation. Eris is all about calling out the things that are unfair in the system. So systemic oppression. That's something that Eris is really passionate about calling out. So I think like Mars and Eris, when they meet up, they're ready to draw some blood, to be honest. Like if we're looking at this through an ancient lens, Mars and Eris are on the battlefield, folks. So how we could translate that into a modern context? Well, certainly there's war going on, but Eris brings in the revolutionary spirit um of liberation and who are we fighting for and who's feeling left out and who needs a voice. So let's give voice to these people who are discounted. That's what Eris wants to do. Keep in mind that we still have Mercury in Aries until the 15th of May. So Mercury in Aries is also going to be even louder now that Mercury in Aries is answered and supported by Mars in Aries. So the the vocalism, and I'm looking at like the gag orders, like the judges are trying to give gag orders to Donald Trump, and he's just like fighting it and not having it and being very outspoken and attacking and antagonizing people that are trying to, you know, execute this trial. And that just feels so Mercury and Aries to me. So I don't expect him to turn down either with this Mars and Aries stuff. So yeah, Mars in Aries, it shoots liberally, it's fiery, it's impulsive, it just comes out ready to go, ready to throw knucks. It may just like take some cheap shots, Mars in Aries. It is going to represent aggressors, aggression, agitation, and agitators. Remember, Mars is like the punk, the rebel, just like calling out everything. So Mars in Aries is known for starting fights. So not only will we see an inflammation of ongoing disputes and contentions, but we may see more. We may see new disputes begin with. So Mars in Aries is here to just antagonize everything. It is loud, barking, harsh, feisty, combative. So we're going to see a lot of that on the world stage. So get ready. But for us personally, going back to that again, let's think about where we need to be brave, where we need to be courageous. Remember that we have the eclipses activating the Aries sector of our chart. So think about where Aries is in your life. Think about what the eclipses have been bringing out in that area of your life. Mars is going to energize this area of life. So whatever the eclipse is kind of pushed along, Mars is here to take it even further. Whatever the eclipse showed you about where you need to be brave and grab the reins and take charge, Mars is here to help us follow through. So yeah, I think that that's just going to kind of add to what the North Node in Aries is trying to bring in, which is we can't always be peaceful, South Node in Aries. If we're always trying to be civil and peaceful, we can't expect that everyone else is going to follow the same value system. And sometimes you have to get loud, sometimes you have to demonstrate, sometimes you have to let your voice be heard in a bigger way, in a more demonstrative way. So that's what the Aries energy is good for. It helps us confront so that we can solve real pressing problems that we've tried to discuss and smooth over in a civil way before, but it just wasn't getting anywhere. And Mars in Aries kind of says, time is running out and there's an urgency in our body, like that fight or flight urgency that says, we need to do something about this. So think about where that's showing up for you in your personal life. And may Mars in Aries empower you to do something brave, to surprise yourself, and have courage to make some big moves. This is really starter energy. Like if you need to get the ball rolling in a certain area of your life, something you've been putting off or avoiding, or some kind of big, brave new adventure or project or task, Mars in Aries is going to be an excellent ally for you. So I hope this transit serves you in the best way. And that's a little bit about Mars and Aries for right now. I'm sure we'll be talking about it more as it makes these aspects. Some of them I already foreshadowed, but for right now, that's your astrology shot of the day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Thanks so much for tuning in with me today. For more astrology in your world, you can connect with me on all platforms at Astro Catherine. You can also head on over to my website, catherineurban.com, where you can book your next astrology reading. We'll go into depth into your natal chart, your progressions, your profections, your solar return, your transits, and beyond. You can also join my mailing list where you can stay up to date with me on new classes as well as article drops. I look forward to connecting with you, and I'll see you next time.